morning. Let's take a look at the U.S. markets then.
Good morning to you, Shreyansi. If you look at the U.S. market, it was a record close coming in for Dow once again, actually. But Nvidia falls on back of the forecast that it had given. So if you remember yesterday as well, in the post-trading hour session, you saw Nvidia actually fall in trade, and that's the reason why U.S. markets had seen a decline. And ditto coming in last night's trading session as well. If you look at the Q2 GDP, it showed an estimate that the U.S. economy grew by about 3%. You had Apple that gained in the trading session. This after Citigroup selected the company as a top AI pick. Talking about the U.S. markets closed then in particular, you had Dow that notched a record closing high once again. You had the S&P 500 that ended flat, while Nasdaq saw declines about 0.2% in the trading session. Talking about the Nvidia, their quarterly revenue forecast, the street was pretty disappointed with it. The investors were disappointed with the forecast that they have given going ahead. So the stock saw a fall of over 6%, trimming its 2024 gains to about 13.7%. Talking about the other AI-related stocks, they were mixed. You had Microsoft that gained about 0.6%. You had Alphabet that ended up dipping about 0.7% in yesterday's trading session. If you look at what Apple did, like I mentioned, it saw an uptick of about 1.5%. This after Citigroup going ahead and picking it or naming it as the top AI pick. But all in all, if you look at the US markets, the close was pretty mixed coming in for the US markets in particular, Shreyansi.
Well, yes, absolutely. And let's also take a quick look at crude then, Cheryl, because when you take a look at U.S. crude oil futures, you're looking at a gain coming in of about 2% there, a rebound coming in after a two-day losing streak, and this was as Libya confirmed major disruptions in its oil output. Then production in Libya has fallen by 1.5 million barrels over the past 3 days for a total loss of $120 million. And that is according to the OPEC members' National Oil Corporation. Now, Iraq also plans to reduce oil output from 4.25 million barrels per day in July to about 3.9 million barrels in September as well, and that is something that the reports are highlighting as well. And Iraq has been producing more than its quota of 4 million barrels per day, remember, under an OPEC agreement with OPEC and its allies. And of course, when you take a look at price movements, then when you're taking a look at WTI, you're looking at levels around those $75 per barrel, uptick of about 1.9% coming in there, and year to date also that contract has gained 5.9% as well. When you take a look at Brent as well, around $79 per barrel is where that one was at, uptick of about 1.6% coming in there, and year to date basis that contract is also ahead by 3.7% as well. Now, US crude, of course, has had quite the volatile week. Now, crude jumped more than 3% on Monday on disruptions in Libya, but subsequently pulled back as the extent that the outages were unclear, and also slowing demand in China is something that weighed on the market afterwards. So that is the kind of move that you've seen come in for crude, 3% move and then a pullback happened there. The US benchmark has been trading in a range this month between $71 to $80 per barrel. So that's the kind of month that crude has also had. And prices have risen on the risk of supply disruptions in the Middle East as tensions escalate between Israel, Iran, as well as Islamic Republic's ally Hezbollah as well. But gains on geopolitical risk largely have quickly faded as demand also falters in China due to surging electric vehicle sales and a tepid economy as well. So the geopolitical risk premium is definitely something that we're keeping an eye on, Cheryl. Lastly, let's also take a quick look at gold. And when you take a look at gold, gold prices gained on Thursday, fueled by those strong expectations of a Federal Reserve rate cut, something that has really kept gold afloat all through this week, really, Cheryl.
Absolutely. So that's the way how the commodity markets also actually fared in trade. But let's move.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.